Some choices arrive loudly. Others come quietly, slipping into ordinary moments, waiting to see what kind of person we are when no one is watching. This story reminded me that honesty is rarely dramatic. It's usually uncomfortable. And often, it costs something before it gives anything back. Clara was known for being reliable, the kind of person people trusted without question. She showed up early. She finished her work. She didn't cause problems. But what most people didn't know was that Clara had mastered something else too. The art of staying silent when honesty felt inconvenient. Not because she was dishonest by nature, but because life had taught her that honesty could be risky. At work, mistakes weren't forgiven easily. At home, arguments lingered longer than apologies. And growing up, Clara learned that telling the truth sometimes brought more trouble than peace. So she learned to smooth things over, to adjust stories slightly, to protect herself with small omissions. Nothing big, nothing harmful, just easier. Until one ordinary Tuesday gave her a choice she couldn't avoid. Clara worked at a small publishing firm. A quiet place, soft keyboards, the smell of coffee in the mornings. That day, her team was preparing a major presentation for a client, one that could bring the company new funding. Everyone was careful. Everyone was tense. Clara was responsible for organizing the final data report. Late in the afternoon, as the office thinned out, she noticed something. A column of numbers didn't add up. At first, she thought it was fatigue. As she blinked, checked again. Still wrong. The totals were higher than they should be. Not wildly. Just enough to look impressive. Enough to make the project seem more successful than it actually was. Her heartbeat slowed. Someone had adjusted the figures. Not maliciously, maybe. Not criminally. But intentionally. She traced the file history and saw her teammate's name. Evan. Evan was kind. Funny. Well-liked. The type everyone defended. Clara leaned back in her chair. If she corrected the numbers, the presentation would look weaker. If she mentioned it, Evan might get in trouble. If she stayed quiet, no one would know. And technically, it wasn't her mistake. The room felt suddenly very still. This was one of those quiet crossroads no one prepares you for. Clara stared at the screen longer than she meant to. She imagined two futures. In one, she said nothing. The meeting went well. Everyone smiled. The company celebrated. Evan stayed safe. Clara stayed invisible. In the other, she spoke up. The numbers were fixed. The room felt awkward. Questions were asked. Someone might be disappointed. And Clara might become the person who caused problems. Honesty doesn't usually feel heroic. It feels heavy. She whispered to herself, "It's not even that big." But something inside her resisted the thought. Because once you accept a small lie, it teaches you how to accept a bigger one next time. She closed the file, then opened it again. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. This wasn't about Evan anymore. It was about who she wanted to be when no one was forcing her. Clara remembered something her grandmother once said. Peace built on pretending eventually collapses. At the time, Clara hadn't understood it. Now she did. She saved a copy of the report, corrected the numbers quietly, and walked to her manager's office. Her knock was gentle. "Come in," the voice said. Clara stood there for a second longer than necessary. Then she spoke. "I found something in the data. The totals were adjusted. I fixed them, but I wanted you to know before tomorrow." Her manager looked at the screen. It scrolled, checked, then paused. There was no anger in the room, just silence. Finally, her manager said, "Thank you for telling me." Clara exhaled without realizing she had been holding her breath. Later, Evan came to her desk. His smile was smaller than usual. "I didn't think anyone would notice," he admitted quietly. "I just wanted the numbers to look better. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone." Clara nodded. "I know, but the truth protects all of us in the long run." Evan didn't answer immediately. Then he said, "Thanks for being honest with me instead of behind me." That surprised her. She had expected resentment. Instead, she felt something lighter settle inside her. That evening, Clara went home to her apartment. As she made tea, sat by the window, watched the city breathe as she reflected on what transpired during the day. She noticed something important. Honesty didn't remove her fear. It replaced it with peace. It didn't make life easier. It made it lighter. She realized that lying often feels like protection, but it quietly builds walls around the very help we need. Honesty opens doors, even when it feels unsafe, especially when it feels uncomfortable. Clara wrote one sentence at the bottom of the page. "Every time I choose honesty, I choose who I'm becoming." This is Moments and Meanings by Anne.